station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Ahead on DC News Now at 10, hundreds are displaced following a deadly 3-alarm fire in Montgomery County. Well, we're learning about a key safety feature that was missing in that building. Plus, what we know about a deadly shooting on a Metro bus in Montgomery County and the search for a suspect tonight. And former President Jimmy Carter is back home following a series of short hospital stays, while he says he's spending his remaining time at home with family.
And once again, we have another week where we're really talking about temperatures more than precipitation. Yeah, we'll get a few raindrops here and there, but the heat is on once again. We'll talk about how warm it may get this week coming up.
All right, thanks, Scott. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 10. I'm Annalisa Gale. A woman and several pets are dead following a 3-alarm fire in Silver Spring this morning. And right now, more than 400 people have been displaced as officials announced that 208 apartments have been impacted. As Dave Laval found out, investigators say the apartment building lacked a popular safety feature, which came as a surprise to residents.
Vic Washington captured the flames shooting from the Arrive apartment complex in Silver Spring from the 3rd floor.
Very traumatic experience, very traumatic. You jump into emergency mode. You know, you get your belongings and you get out.
Washington lives there on the B side of the 2-tower complex. The fire started around 6 a.m. Saturday on the 7th floor of the A building. Washington and others say they heard what they thought were explosions. Those, according to Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, were likely aerosol cans that overheated. Alarms alerted tenants about the fire, but that's all they had.
This building does not have sprinklers in the residential units.
Fire Chief Scott Goldstein said the more than 50-year-old apartment complex where one person died in the fire was not required to have sprinklers.
This building is appropriate to the code at the time it was constructed. Okay, so there's a number of roughly 80 buildings in Montgomery County that are multi-story residentials that are not sprinkler equipped.
I think all apartments and apartment buildings and inside apartments should have a sprinkler system.
Demetrius Wheeler lives on the 2nd floor of Tower A. His apartment is fine. Wheeler knew about the lack of sprinklers when he moved into the building.
I feel left out, you know what I'm saying, not safe, not protected. So, yeah, very concerning.
While firefighters said some tenants could get back into the building overnight, others said they've been told by management it could be days, weeks, or even months before they're allowed to return home. In Silver Spring, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And at last check, one person remained in critical condition following that fire. 3 firefighters were also treated for minor injuries. The Caulfield Recreation Center has opened as a shelter for the day. Also in Maryland, we have an update on a high-profile case now. A former Pentagon police officer will remain behind bars as he awaits a new trial. This comes after a mistrial this week. Officials say in April 2021, David Hall Dixon, a Pentagon police officer, was off duty in Tacoma Park. Investigators say Dixon told them he saw people breaking into a car. That's when he tried confronting them. When they didn't respond and started driving off, police say that's when the former Pentagon officer shot into the car several times. 32-year-old Dominique Williams and 38-year-old James Lionel Johnson died following that shooting. The driver of the car, Michael Thomas, survived that shooting. Even though the state's attorney spokesperson said the case was very complicated, saying the jury had 12 options alone among the first 3 counts. The attorney for the victim's family, though, say that they are disappointed with yesterday's outcome.
He shot 4 shots into the back of the vehicle. Then there was another pause, and he shot a 5th shot. There's no question to us that neither David Dixon nor any reasonable person would think that they were any physical harm.
Dixon will remain behind bars, held without bond in both this case and an unrelated assault case in which he is awaiting trial. The state's attorney's office plans to meet with an administrative judge next week to select new trial dates. Turning now to the district, we have a new video following an officer-involved shooting on Good Hope Road in Southeast last week. In that video, you can see the officer confronting suspect Stephen Shaw. Police say they confronted Shaw while looking for another man wanted for an assault, and Shaw responded by saying, "It's not me." Police then say at some point Shaw reached into his waistband. That's when an officer opened fire, hitting him. Shaw was charged with possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. Developing now, police are investigating a deadly shooting on a Metro bus in Montgomery County. They say it happened just before 8 p.m. on Friday on the Z6 bus in the White Oak neighborhood that's near Lockwood Drive and New Hampshire Avenue. Police say the victim was killed after what investigators are calling an altercation. He has not been identified.
This was a situation between two individuals who knew one another. So this was not something where this person was randomly shooting people.
Officials are now urging anyone who was around or especially on that bus to come forward. The search continues tonight for that shooter. Well, now to the Hill, where both Ohio senators are raising new concerns about rail safety following the train derailment in East Palestine. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has the latest on the changes they are now demanding.
Both Ohio Senators J.D. Vance and Sherrod Brown are demanding answers following the train derailment in East Palestine nearly 2 weeks ago. Brown says the train company has not been required to invest enough in safety.
At Norfolk Southern made huge profits, big stock buybacks, big dividends, didn't invest, and then laid off thousands of workers.
They are now asking the National Transportation Safety Board to look into improving regulations.
It could be how we label cars, minimal worker requirements in terms of worker safety.
Brown says he wants to see Norfolk Southern held accountable, but Vance says the investigation should play out first before placing blame.
We'll see what criminal culpability needs to happen when we learn more about what actually caused this.
Vance says right now he's focused on helping people return home safely.
Step one is figure out the public safety side of this. Step two is figure out the cleanup and actually get this community cleaned up properly.
Before that can happen safely, testing has to be done. So far, the EPA has tested the water and air quality to allow 500 families to return. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.
Right now, Virginia Republicans want to defund the agency created to oversee marijuana legalization. It comes as we've learned the GOP shot down a bill that would have allowed recreational marijuana sales by 2024. Virginia Capitol Bureau reporter Jackie DeFusco has the latest on this debate.
Well, the House's budget proposal would slash nearly 70% of the Cannabis Control Authority's funding over 2 fiscal years, signaling Republicans have no intention of changing their mind anytime soon. A bill to start selling recreational marijuana in 2024, burning out for the second year in a row in the Virginia General Assembly.
I think they did make the right move. I don't think we're ready. I'm not sure we'll ever be ready for that.
The vote, a disappointment for Senator Adam Ebbin.
The Republican Party in the House of Delegates has been an impediment to legal sales for cannabis, and voters should keep that in mind when they vote in November.
Back when Democrats were in charge, they made it legal for adults to possess and grow small amounts of recreational marijuana, but they did not finalize the future of retail sales. That delay turned into a major barrier when the GOP took back control of the House, with Governor Glenn Youngkin taking a hands-off approach.
The governor has not taken a position specifically on the retail piece of this legislation.
House Appropriations Committee Chair Barry Knight declining an on-camera interview when asked about their proposal to cut a huge chunk of the Cannabis Control Authority's budget. In a text, Knight said they won't need the money without a retail market for recreational marijuana. But it comes as lawmakers are also transferring oversight of the medical cannabis program to the budding agency.
It doesn't make sense to cut back the funding at a time that we're going to give them increased responsibilities.
In a statement, the head of the Cannabis Control Authority said that the size of these cuts is concerning and that they could very well undermine efforts to address the public health concerns associated with marijuana legalization, like impaired driving. Governor Glenn Youngkin's office declined to comment when asked if they had any role in requesting these budget cuts, and Chairman Knight said he could not recall who asked for them. Reporting at the Capitol, I'm Jackie DeFusco.
All right, good evening, everyone. We had a beautiful day today with lots of sunshine to start off the day. High pressure south of our area gave us that sunshine, but now we're seeing clouds drift in. We have been seeing it over the last couple of hours here in the weather center. Granted, no rain coming from these clouds, but still, nonetheless, clouds are on top of us. Now, our next opportunity of seeing showers will arrive here on President's Day on Monday, and then we'll ramp up the rain chances as we go throughout Tuesday and more likely Wednesday, where we'll see the highest chance of seeing some rain. Then we get a little bit of a reprieve and potentially a week from today. Some more showers back in the forecast, but none of these rain chances are going to be soaking rain or will we see any flooding from this. So it's a gentle, beneficial rain for everybody that will move on in across all of the four-state region. All right, so how about your running forecast for tomorrow? Well, if you're an early riser, even on a Sunday morning, you may usually take Sundays off and not run. But if you are a runner and you're a diehard, you want to get out there, in the morning it's going to be chilly. Certainly bundle up there, 20s and 30s. However, in the afternoon, well, not too bad. 50s primarily, but maybe if an isolated 60 or 61 degree reading could be seen. It'll be dry and blustery at times as we have a southerly wind at 5 to 15 miles an hour, gusting at times up into the 20s. Now, looking ahead, as nice as tomorrow's going to be, I am looking ahead towards Thursday. Why? Because we could have a record or two tied or broken. Winchester's, I'm forecasting 75 for Winchester, and the record is 67 back in 2017. So you guys could possibly break a record. D.C., you'll be close. Annapolis, you'll be close. Hagerstown and Martinsburg, especially Martinsburg, also very close across the area. So here is the headline breakdown. Spotty showers on President's Day, some daily showers through midweek. And again, that record warmth for Thursday is a possibility for some. Annalisa?
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, in the Maryland General Assembly, a new commission is being proposed to study and understand more about mental health. Senator Melanie Griffith, who represents Prince George's County, says the goal would be to improve how the state handles treating people with mental health struggles and the services that are offered to help them, especially when it comes to how those services are paid for. The commission would be composed of lawmakers, health experts, insurance professionals, and mental health analysts. Well, developing now in Columbus, Georgia, 9 children have been injured in a gas station shooting. It happened following a party nearby. The youngest victim was 5 years old. Hannah James from our sister station WRBL has the latest message from the police chief tonight.
5, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 17. Those are the ages of the 9 children injured in a Friday night shooting at a Shell gas station on Warm Springs Road. Over a dozen law enforcement officials responded to the scene from both the Columbus Police Department and Muskogee County Sheriff's Office. Columbus Police Chief Freddie Blackman tells news outlets the shooting stems from an altercation that took place at a party in the surrounding area.
What I do want to say to our parents is make sure that we know where our children are. Let's make sure we know what our children have in their possession. And what I want to say to everyone, let's make sure we get involved and work towards helping to communicate how to peaceably resolve differences of opinions, how to peacefully resolve conflict without resorting to gunfire.
Evidence markers at the scene indicated rounds were fired in multiple areas around the gas station. Blackman says the youngest victim, a 5-year-old boy, was at the gas station with a family member when he got caught in the crossfire.
This epidemic that's sweeping our nation of this lack of maturity or mental acuity to be able to make a decision on some of these young people's parts, I just get tired of seeing folks when they have a disagreement or an argument or maybe even a fist fight, they think they have to reach for a gun and go to deadly force. That's just got to stop. We have to find a way as a community to reclaim our young people.
And the city plans to do just that.
The young people that refuse to take advantage of the organizations and the programs that are out there to improve themselves, give themselves an opportunity at a really good life, and they want to stay on the street and committing the crimes, then it becomes public safety's responsibility to catch them, lock them up for as long as we can.
Reporting from Columbus, I'm Hannah James.